Young birds on the airwaves reaching, talk about life and what you're preaching. Family tales and where you're going, truths you need without the sugar coating. On the mic, yeah, they won't falter. Advice they give like a sacred altar. Stories real, you can't ignore them. Light and dark, they always explore them. Young blood's here for you, with wisdom, old and questions new. Tune in now and you will see life's a mess, but side by side we're free. Wisdom shared from heart to heart, pushing through when life falls apart. Raw and true, no hesitation, covering life without the reservation. Family roots and wayward souls, stories deep like black and coals. Guiding you when times are tough, stick around if you ain't had enough. Young blood's here for you, with wisdom, old and questions new. Tune in now and you will see life's a mess, but side by side we're free. Numbers here for you, with wisdom, old and questions new. Tune in now and you will see life's a mess, but side by side we're free. Wisdom shared from heart to heart, pushing through when life falls apart. Raw and true, no hesitation, covering life without the reservation.
What is going on, everybody? Hope everybody's doing well. I'm back. Easiest thing to say is I'm back. We got some good stuff going on. Got some new emails. Got some new stuff happening. Oh my gosh, a lot of stuff has happened. I have been gone away from doing a lot of things. I've been doing some other lives and other things like that, discussing, Beast Games and the fact that I was in Beast Games, and that was kind of cool. That being said, here I am. Finally back to normal routine, normal content, normal stuff that that I typically talk about. Got some good emails to talk about tonight, which is actually pretty amazing. I have my email box has overflowed, flowed. I don't know how to say that the right way, but either way, it is full. And some people ask me, am I even here? Do I even exist? Have I fallen off the world? Am I okay? Am I still doing this stuff? What is going on? Yeah, but I'm here. I'm talking stuff. I am trying to get back into the routine. I'm going to try to do this every night. At least Monday through Friday. Because I need a life too. Because we got a big project we're about to start rolling out with in a matter of 2 to 3 weeks. I think it's going to roll out with. And I'm actually, with that project, I'm going to say this right now. With the new project we have coming up, I need y'all's help. Okay, and I'm not asking for money. I need y'all to share my project because we're trying. We do have it in the runnings to become an actual new show for a couple of companies out there, particularly one. But we're trying to get into other ones. Trying to make an exclusive with somebody. That being said, it's up to them. It's up to their money. And then if they don't do it, then we're going to have to fund this ourselves. So I've put together a Kickstarter and we're going to roll that out. And honestly, I mean, my whole dream, we want to hire people. We want to make sure we want to add jobs to people. We want to give people work. We want to actually hire a social media manager. We want to hire video editors, directors. We've got we're working on getting a couple sponsorships with some camera companies, and we're going to be filming nonstop for this project for a year. So that's all I'm going to say. That's all we're going to talk about. And I'm just trying to, lot of stuff going on. Once we drop that project, once we let everybody know what it is, we'll hopefully you guys can jump in and give us a hand and help us push that out. But there's that. So anyway, again, I'm back. I'll have Shannon on here not tonight, but in a few days maybe. It's up to her. She gets busy and she's works her job and she gets tired. So there's that. Yeah. So there's life. Anyway, so here we are, things rolling. I am, man, so much to talk about. Some of these questions actually contain that came in that I hand selected the most recent. So, and then Nick's asking, how were the games? The games were amazing. I'll go ahead and answer that question right now. Nick, all I can say, the games were amazing. I am sad that I am now officially eliminated. I made it to 4 episodes. And that's as far as I could go. I end up bowing out, end up doing my I self-sacrificed among a few of us also self-sacrificed. Well, that were in my episode, which they didn't really show much of what we did. But in my episode at the end, I end up self-sacrificing first because I knew that wasn't going to happen. Right. So it lasted longer than you. Hey, I did what I could. I mean, it was, as you know, it was definitely an interesting, hard thing to do. And they, there was only one way around to make it happen. And I did what I could. Right. Grace Richards. I don't know. Maybe, I have to look. I'm horrible with names. I'm going to say this right now. I am the worst when it comes to names. That's me. I'm horrible with names. Probably did. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, that's been my life, literally. So it's been nonstop. I couldn't talk about it for a while, and it's been my life for, honestly, several months until it kind of came to a head once that 4th episode dropped, and I watched it and the progression, and then honestly, the slight depression kicks in because you're knowing, like, I'm in no more. Now that being said, I guess the guys from Beast Games or who, I don't know who did it, Amazon or whatever, they did go in and they did they did create a IMDb account for me. It's kind of cool, and I was just I know nothing about that part of the world when it comes to entertainment, so that was kind of interesting that they did that. But there was that, so. I had my 15 minutes of fame apparently, and now here I am back to my normal low key podcast life, at least until we get our next project off the rails and get it going. So there's that. Anyway, she was connected at 228 and got out on the columns. Self-elimination 228. I'm gonna have to look up a picture. I probably did meet her. We did have a person like on our row. She girl self-sacrificed. I was on row. I was 486. That was my number, is 486. And so our row lit up green first because we had this wonderful young lady who's like, what? I'll save everybody. Boom, done. It was awesome. So there was that. So I appreciated it because that allowed me to go further. And then, yeah. I will say now I am going to be interviewed. It'll be a roundtable interview with me and a few other Beast Game guests on the January 10th. I will actually drop the link on here, so you guys can go see the link on Instagram. You'll see the post. You can go watch it. Whatever. I'm going to actually drop some tea, some stuff that I said I would keep it to myself forever, but because of some posts that have been going on. From the potential, the stuff that's inside the tea, I decided, screw it. I'm going to talk about it. So anyway, there's that. I'm so glad I wasn't in any of the games after I left. I wouldn't have taken the bribe. Yeah, that a lot of people said the same thing. We went out to a watch party last month. Me and Dave Gallagher, son, our friends, good friends. Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, so we did a watch party here in Utah. Also, Dave was there. Obviously, I think you probably went to the one with Harrison, if I'm correct. But yeah, you and me. So it was a good thing. It was good. Beast Games was fun. I actually got a couple of questions in here from people who well, the first question that I dropped on my to read tonight is this one here. He says, "Hey Devin, I'm a huge fan of Beast Games and of Mr. Beast and his Beast Games, but my friends keep insisting they must be rigged somehow. They say it's impossible for those challenges to be fair with so much money on the line. I don't think it's true, but I don't want to argue my case. What do you think? Are those competitions really as transparent as it seems?" Here's the deal. When it comes to the Beast Games, I can answer this question pretty easily. It's not rigged. By any means, it's not rigged. The competition was the competition. It was, if you got eliminated, you got eliminated. And it was a lot of the games were games of chance. And your fate was in the hands of other people, which I'm not a huge fan of that, because I'd rather go out on my own lack of, my lack of ability to do things. But it was fine. I mean, the games were never rigged. It was a kind of a hard thing to do. Some of the games were really, really hard to do, but it is what it is. I mean, a lot of people want to say it was rigged. Sure, you can say everything's rigged, and you can say, well, reality TV is just, it's not really reality TV. I can tell you a lot of reality TV is not full reality TV, but Beast Games was never rigged. If it was rigged, they would go. Yeah, absolutely, they would go to jail. Their lawyers. So their lawyers were there at the whole games. You're correct, and honestly, they came out and they would make sure we all understood before the game would even start. So it was never rigged. Just so I can tell you, Mason, you're in Dallas. The games were never rigged. No big deal. If your friends want to try to argue it was rigged, tell them to come to the next season when it comes out, whenever they decide to open cast for that. Join it, and they can tell you whether it's rigged or not. So anyway, or you can do it. So anyway, what else do we got in here? I think I got 12 of them I picked for tonight. I may not go read all 12 of these things, but I will read some of them. How about this one? This one's a good one. The title on this one is "Ready for a Baby." So, "Hey Devin, my partner and I have been married for 5 years, and we've started to think about having kids. I'm excited, but I'm also terrified. How do you know if it's right? How do I know if it's right for me to be a parent?" And this is Mia from Salt Lake. Mia, I can tell you this right now. If you think you should be a parent, be a parent. Okay, for one, because there's nothing in the world that can ever prepare you to being a parent until the second that child is there, and you're loading that. You see, you're there. You be giving birth to the child. Your husband's there, and the child is born. He's holding the baby. You're holding the baby, and you realize, oh man, this is mine now. I've got to deal with this. And I mean that in a nice way, because children are awesome. Children are great. They're great blessings. Children help you grow better and to be a better person in your life. Children, no one tells you these things. They just tell you, hey, you should have kids. It's fun. And well, fun part's making them. Not going to lie. But what's also fun is watching them grow up. Yes, there's heartache. Yes, there's, boyfriends. Then there's dumping. And then there's all these different things that you have to go through, that you have to deal with. But it's amazing. I can tell you, I have gone through a lot of crap raising kids. And I've had a lot of heartache raising kids. But I can tell you this, it is worth it. And you just don't know until you have one. And I don't care what anyone says. People can argue it all day long. You don't know until you do it. And then you step up to the plate. Hopefully, some people don't. Then you step up to the plate and you work your butt off. And you make sure that you raise that kid correctly. That's the reality. That's the bottom line. So, if you can do that, and you're not afraid, I'm going to tell you, I was scared to death. It was not easy. I just did it. My wife and I, we just did it. And we've got 5 amazing children. We've had so far we've had 5 amazing heartaches with all those kids. But I'm telling you, if you guys are ready, take the leap, go for it. Right? So Jen says it's the hardest, most rewarding thing you will ever do in your life. Yeah, that is there. You cannot say it any better. That is the best way to say it ever. So yeah, no, it is. I mean, I tell you, I would not know where I would be right now if it wasn't for my kids. Seriously, I think my kids have made me a better person. I'm good. I'm learning every day. I mean, as a parent, you are supposed to learn every day. As a person in general, you're supposed to learn every day. And I'm learning every day. Okay. Let's do this one. Oh, this one's kind of a spicier one. Here we go. Hey, Devin. I've been married for 8 years to a wonderful man. He's kind, supportive, and honestly, everything I ever wanted in a partner. But lately, I found myself fantasizing about a coworker. It started off as harmless thoughts, just wondering what it would be like to talk to him outside of work and grab a coffee. But over time, the daydreams have become more detailed and more frequent. I haven't acted on anything, and I don't plan on to. I love my husband and our life together, but I can't help feeling guilty for having these thoughts. Is this a sign of something is missing from my marriage, or is this normal to feel this way? How do I process this without letting it fester and risking what I have at home? Feeling conflicted. Anonymous in Los Angeles. All right, Anonymous, here's the deal. Stop with the thoughts, okay? Here, some people may not believe in the spicy. Some people may not believe in this stuff, but our thoughts tend to turn into actions. They do. When we think about things and we think about it and we focus on it a lot, it can turn into an action. So I'm going to say there probably is something missing in your marriage. And you've been married for 8 years. Okay. You guys have been married for 8 years. There is, the 7-year itch can be a thing. And it's because you get a lot of times in relationships, you get very comfortable with each other. And then you do the same routine. And it's the same thing. And it's like, okay, it's Monday night. Let's go fool around. That type of stuff. These are the things that you when you've been married. I've been married for 23 years. Okay, soon to be 23, 24. How long have we been married? Do the math in your head, Devin. Yeah, 23 years, almost 24 years. When we hit 24 at the end of this month, I will tell you that has it been some moments been slow? Yes. Have some moments been amazing? Most of the time, actually, because we work at it. Have I traveled? Have things been slow? Okay, here's the thing. If you're fantasizing about a coworker, you should start fantasizing about your spouse, okay? And then you need to communicate and talk to your spouse. You need to tell them what you want, tell them what's going on, tell things feel stagnant or whatever it is. I mean, I don't know how to portray this in the best way to you because, you're fantasizing about a coworker here. And that sucks because just think how your spouse will feel. Seriously. So spice things up. If your love life, if your bedroom life is lacking, turn up the notch a little bit. And just so you know, it is not a sprint. When it comes to that stuff, it's a marathon. Take your time. Get things going. Get things working. Don't rush into it. And I promise you, as a man who's been married for 23 years, that will help you. The more thoughts fester, those thoughts fester, the more they will become reality. It's true. I mean, thoughts come into what we think about becomes our reality. Communication is key. You need to be vocal. If you're not talking to your spouse, I mean, these are comments that are coming in right now. And I'm telling you, you're in Los Angeles. Okay, here's the deal. There are a lot of beautiful people in the world, right? Just because they're beautiful doesn't mean you act upon that. You can acknowledge, hey, that's a pretty person, but then move on with it, okay? Because you just don't stop entertaining that stuff, because you married the person you're married to, and you're married to them, and you've been married to them for a reason. You love them for a reason. You like them for a reason. So don't fantasize about anybody else. Let me tell you, and this is going to probably TMI, there's not a day that goes by that I'm like, man, my wife is beautiful. Man, she looks good naked. Oh my gosh. And that's probably too much information. But think about the one that's home. Trust as someone who was once married. I failed that multiple times. I mean, marriage is hard. It is. Marriage. But the thing is, if you're communicating and you're talking and you're putting in the effort, it will all work out. Seriously, if you're doing your part and they're doing their part and you're talking to, I mean, literally, if you're not talking to each other, you're messing up your marriage right there alone. You have to talk. You have to communicate. You have to say the stuff that needs to be said. You have to not hold things back. Not feel like, well, they're going to get upset. My wife and I, we have a no upset rule. We can talk. I can say, hey, I need to tell you something that's going to be hard. And she knows, okay. And it could upset her, right? Things can upset her. Things can upset me. But we step back. We take it because we're willing to communicate. And then once it's all done, we take a breather and we discuss it. Can some of those discussions get heated? Yeah. I mean, if you've been married for any amount of time, yes. The answer is 100% emphatically yes. As a man, you need to structure it. Otherwise, it will be toxic. The thing is, okay, when it comes to communicating with your spouse, my opinion is this. Men typically think more logically. And I'm not saying that women are not logical, but we separate emotion easier than most women do. So we'll take emotion and push emotion to the side. And then we'll go look at the situation and say, this is how we're going to have to fix this situation. This is how we'll deal with it. This is why a lot of men overthink things when their wife comes to them. And like, okay, I'll give you a huge for instance. When my wife gets off work, I used to pick her up at the train and she'd ride home with the train and with me. And when she gets off work, she gets in the car, I ask her basic questions. First, how was your day? What happened today that was significant or important? Not necessarily those words, but that type of word. And then I let her just blow it all out. Just get it all out there. Now, the reason I do that is, one, I really want to know. Two, I also know that if you're upset about something and you let it fester, it makes you angry, and then you tend to take it home, because that's what I used to do. I ran my own business for years, and I would be dealing with stuff that most people shouldn't have to deal with, and I would come home and I would end up taking that out on my loved ones, and I shouldn't. So what I end up doing is I let her vent it all out, and then I'll ask a follow-up question, and I'm like, is there anything I can do to help? And 99% of the time, the answer is no, because that's all that she needed to do. She knew the problem and she knew how to fix the problem. She just needed to vent the problem, and then she feels better. Women are more smarter and help men where they lack. And of course, most women are emotional, and there is nothing wrong with it. So as long as they are there. Well, the thing is, I mean, women, I'm not going to disagree. Women are smarter, and but they are more emotional, but that's not a bad thing. I mean, it really, and they just say, I think you agree, women, it is not a bad thing. We need women. Women need us. I I know men get a bad rap and a lot of times, and we've gone through this many years of people saying, well, there's toxic masculinity, blah, 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 blah. No, there's toxic people, and then there's toxic men and toxic women, so there's toxic people. It's not, masculinity is not toxic. Femininity is not toxic. It is what we are. Now, you either are a bad version or you're a good version. Try to be the good version. And if you see that you're going down the rabbit hole of being a bad version, change yourself, change your life. So again, if you're fantasizing about somebody, take it back home. Fantasize about the person at the home, because I can tell you what, you married them for a reason. You love them for a reason. You should be there for them for that reason. It's true. I mean, it makes the rest of us look bad. Been single for almost 8 years, and I know and I know I want someone. I mean, everyone deserves to have somebody. I'm going to say that right now. A lot of times we screw things up because our own honestly, men will screw up a relationship in many cases because of their own insecurities, and partially because they won't communicate those to the person that they're dating. And then the person they're dating, if they communicate here, so it's a catch-22 when it comes to men. Sometimes if a man overshares and the woman's not prepared for what he's about to share, then that can scare her away. So they have to be mentally prepared for it. That's why when you find the right person, it works out. And they're willing to be your ride or die. They're going to be there for you. Again, 23 years of marriage, almost 24. And it's been good, been great. It's been hard. It's been every emotion you can ever have, every adjective you can ever think of in those past 23 years. But I would not give it up for the world. There's that. So anyway. All right. Well, again, here we go. Another one. Hey, Devin. My husband and I have been married for 12 years, but lately we seem more like roommates than a couple. He's a good man and a great father, but I don't feel like we're in love anymore. I've tried to talk to him, but he either brushes it off or says everything is fine. How do I know if it's worth fighting for or if it's just time to move on? Are you married? This is Emma from Chicago. Emma, here's the deal. Marriage and everything is hard, but you married him for a reason. Everything's worth fighting for. Unless he's hurting you. Unless there's some abuse there, it's worth fighting for. I will only give advice for someone to get out of a marriage if there's abuse, just so you know. Well, side note, let me pulse on go back to this. The thing is, you said you literally, as someone I like that was a friend, but blew it because I showed I cared too much. It's hard. I don't know if I could handle it. If I was to be in the dating game again right now, I'm 46 years old. I'd probably just be single for myself because I don't know. I think I could probably get into another relationship. I don't know because I'm not there. But I think it's hard because I think men, unless the woman is emotionally prepared to be there for the guy. And a lot of these girls these days that are out there, they're not emotionally prepared to be for themselves. You're 34 and in the friend zone. Let me tell you, being in the friend zone, that's fine. Be friends. If they want nothing else to go, just go from there and move forward. Okay. I'm going to tell you, and people don't want to hear this, but honestly, there are other people out there, and it's hard. And I don't, best place to find a person to date. I mean, if I was single, of course, I'm going to age myself. I would definitely not jump online. That literally scares the crap out of me to be online dating type stuff. But of course, I understand I care about her a lot, which is why for now, we're just friends, and whatever happens in the future happens. No, that's not a bad place to be honest. Okay, true story on that one. So I have a very good friend of mine. He's actually was he rode skateboards with if you ever seen the movie Lords of Dogtown, the actual documentary stuff about those skateboarders, California, do all that cool stuff. He rode with skateboards with those guys. He lives in New Jersey. Amazing man. He was in the friend zone, no lie. I'm gonna guess probably 30 years. She married this other guy, still friends. The other guy was just a jackass. Should never have been with them anyway. 30 years later, I don't know what happened. I don't remember the whole story of what happened. They ended up getting married a few, I want to say 5, 6, 7 years ago, something like that. Maybe a little bit longer. He married his friend. It just took a long time. Hopefully that's not going to be your case. I think if people know your intention and they know that you care about them and things, and it will move forward, and there's ways you can make it move forward, but don't do it creepily. Definitely don't do it creepily. The reality is, if you want to have a good relationship with somebody, you got to be friends first anyway. I'm not a believer of meeting someone, I couldn't do it. I know people do. I couldn't do it. I couldn't jump in and marry someone and be married to them, know them for only like a week or two and then get married. That happens a lot. At least out in Utah. I'm not from Utah, so there's that. For now, I'm just going to be there to support and just talk to her again. Yeah. I don't really have hopes for it to go anywhere, and she cares about me, so I guess that's a plus. No, I think that's a good place to be. It's not a bad, you're in a good spot. I mean, and I'm no love guru, okay? I just know what I've done. I know that I've kept a marriage going for 23 years so far, almost 24, literally on the cusp of the 24th. And I'm going to tell you, it's to be there in your situation, it is not a bad place to be, because it's not, I married my best friend. I did. And I think best friends turn into best marriages, because you're thicker than thieves. You know more about each other than anyone else. So don't give up. Don't give up. She's the only one that I was willing to still be friends with, even after this situation because I really do have good intentions and care about this person. That's the whole point. You're not making it about, hey, let me get into your pants. You're there about making it, hey, let me support you as a friend. And then if something was to spark. So here's the thing. When it comes to relationships, this is a true fact. No one ever wants to acknowledge it. I think most men know it, but they never say it. When it comes to a relationship, technically, women are in charge. My dad always joked around with the old adage of a guy chases a woman until she catches him. It's true. You sit there and you try to go out with a girl, and they don't give you the time of day until all of a sudden she catches you and say, yeah, let's go out, and I'll give you the time of day. That's literally how this works. Dating can be rough. Even dating while you're married, it can be rough, because it's like, we've done this stuff before. And yes, should you go out, if you're married right now and you're listening to the podcast, you should be dating your wife minimum once a week, honestly. And even if that date means that you just going out for a walk, you go for a walk. You go get a cup of coffee. You go get a hot chocolate. You go do something together. When we first had our kids, we never had anybody had kids. No one ever watched our kids for us. So when we could get a babysitter, we were broke when we first got married and things like that. And we had kids, we were broke. And so we would, our dates were grocery store shopping. It took me after my marriage to realize to appreciate a woman that much, especially towards a friend. Yeah. It's sad that most of us men, I'll tell you that, most of us men, we don't figure things out until it's too late. I read everything and I study everything and I listen to podcasts and I listen to everything. I watch stuff, and some stuff I don't agree with. Some stuff I do agree with. Some stuff I wait to compute to figure out how to implement it. And I think that's the key thing when it comes to marriage, relationship. And I give a lot of marriage and relationship advice. That's why I get the emails like this. Even the one where this Emma from Chicago, where she's talking about her husband are like roommates versus a couple. Well, I can tell you, they've dropped the ball on something, and I can tell you, Emma, right now, what have you dropped your ball on? It's probably date night. That's what I'm going to tell you. Date night. You guys are not spending time with each other, which is why someday I hope to make enough content for a mental health channel specifically for men, because it doesn't get talked about. See, so I did a podcast. I don't know if he's watching right now, but did a podcast, several months ago. And so I did a podcast, we did a recording, was reading an email, and I'm going to tell you this, I have it saved. I need to go back and find it. No one cares about, and for in general terms, most people don't care that a man is struggling. That's the bottom line. We're just expendable. Most of the time, it's all about what can I get from a man versus how can I help a man? You think about it. A true gentleman opens the door for his lady. A true gentleman always has will have his arm out so the lady can hold on to his arm. It's not being, trying to be macho, not trying to be, I'm better than you. It's there for the woman. When you're walking down the sidewalk and you're with your lady, the man should be, if people don't know this, they should be closest to the curb. It's closer to traffic. That's just being a gentleman. Opening the door. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes, sir. No, sir. All that it's common things that we don't teach anymore that we should. But men work hard and they're not appreciated enough. And we've had a society for years that pushed this agenda that men are just nothing and people can live without them. And I call BS to every bit of that. And if people think that and you're watching the podcast or you're listening to the podcast, I'm going to tell you, you're wrong, and you need to change your thoughts, because both men need women need men, and the only way we work well is when we work well together. And when it comes to our mental health, you need to be asking. My wife asks me all the time, "How are you doing? How can I help you? What's going on? Because it's hard." I understand you're right. But there are plenty of examples of things that shouldn't happen, but they did because people put. No, I get it. I get it. It's hard. The thing is, I think one thing that most men don't have, and this is okay. So I'm gonna go back to the Beast Games things. One thing I've learned, and this is at 46 years old, I can honestly, before I went to Beast Games, I could count the number of friends I had on one hand, really. And these would be the number of people I could call on just to talk to. After doing Beast Games, holy crap, I've got so many friends. And it sounds stupid, but I do. I got tons of people that I could reach out to and say, "Hey, you got a minute I can talk to you? I just need to talk." And my gosh, they would do it. There's a man in California, JC. The man is amazing, and it seriously. I don't know if you met JC or not. JC, he's still in Beast Games. I mean, he's still rocking it. The dude is freaking awesome. I believe he would give the shirt off of his back if you needed it. And I think that's one thing that men need, and we need to teach this, that we need to make sure we have friends. We need to make sure we have men friends that we can talk to, and we need to make sure we're talking to our wives, all that stuff. It's all part of, I have, he's a sweetheart. I love him to death. Among a list of all these other people, I've got friends that I joke with. Dave Gallagher. I don't know if you have met Dave. Dave Gallagher, and you know Dave. All these guys, they're amazing men. I have a group of friends that are men and a group of friends that are women, and they will be there for, honestly, I believe every one of them would be there for me if I needed something. I honestly believe that. So I just want to make it easier for our generation and my son's generation for men to get the resources they need. Absolutely. I support you 100% on that one. I tell you right now, that is what needs to happen. and it needs to be promoted. So when you're ready, you get your stuff ready to go. Let's talk. I want to help make this happen. So there's that. Anyway. All right. Well, Emma, I'm going to go back to you for a second. Here's the thing, Emma. You and your husband need a good date night. If he's not too into it, you need to make it happen. You say, hey, I've booked this dinner for such a place tonight. Or, hey, let's just go for a coffee tonight. And he'll be like, what? I will. The thing is, Emma, you need to implement him into your life more. Because I guarantee when you guys were dating before you were married, you did everything together. I guarantee it. You didn't just find this person, marry him, like, oh, now, hey, what? No, you guys were down for everything. So what in those 12 years, what has happened? And I'm going to say it's probably because you haven't been dating. Fix that. Get to know him more. Find out his, I try to learn something new about my wife every day. I do. I try to learn something about my wife every day. And I try to, two reasons. One, I was in a bad car wreck a year ago. A little over a year ago. And I got some brain damage. There is a brain inside here. That's what I did learn. And so I'm having to relearn some stuff like, memories. I have lost a lot of memory. That's the main thing that it was affected is some memory. All my other stuff works, thank goodness. But I mean, memory is the biggest part. And one thing I do know is you need to date your husband. I need to make him go out. I need to go have fun. You're in Chicago, go ice skating. Go just find something to do. There's amazing things to do in Chicago. I can tell you that. You got to find something to do. And I promise you, if you do this, if you make the effort, he'll start making an effort. It goes a little bit. Make him a sandwich. As stupid as it sounds, I'm going to tell you right now, make your husband a sandwich. And it's going to, again, not trying to be cliche, but I'm telling you, you want to get to your husband's heart again. Show acts of service, and making him some food will do that exactly what it is. I'm telling you. Yeah. You'll be fine, but your relationship takes work. You've been doing it. You've been married for 12 years. You got to fix this. It is worth fighting for. So I'm going to tell you, don't move on, put in the effort, make it happen. Show him that things are real. Show him that things are going to do good, and show him that you love him. Simple as that. And he will hopefully, and I'm pretty dang sure he'll return in kind. So there's that. All right. Well, here's another Beast game question, by the way. So let's do another Beast one. I didn't know how many were in there. I just grabbed a bunch of them and dropped them into this form. So here we go. Can you follow me back? I don't know. Can I? Possibly. It sounds bad. I saved your name. I'll check out your stuff. Send me a message so it reminds me, just in case I forget, and I will probably follow you back. So anyway, so here's another question. I recently saw a contestant in Beast Games break down under the pressure, yes, of the competition, and it got me thinking. How do you mentally prepare for something so intense and high stakes? I don't know if I'd be able to handle it without cracking. Do you have any advice for staying calm under pressure like that? Anxious but intrigued. Taylor from Miami. I'm doing good, my friend. I'm doing good. All right, Taylor, here's the deal. Just answering emails. That's all I'm doing, answering emails tonight. Taylor, when it came to seeing people crack, I'm telling you, at any point in the game, even myself, which they didn't show my cube, I'm telling you right now, everybody cracks at one point, okay? It was hard. They were mentally, all I can say is Jimmy is a genius when he knows how to mentally manipulate people. It is insane. And as you're watching Beast Games every Thursday until the 10th episode comes out, I'm telling you right now, it is going to rock your world. You're going to see some major mental stuff happening. You're going to see people break down again more. I mean, it is intense, really is. And the only way you can mentally prepare for it is you have to separate emotion in some cases with how you on how you feel to just get the task done at hand. And I say that because that's typically what most men do anyway. That's kind of how we handle crap, because we know it's hard and we just deal with it and we go with it. But that's what you got to do. So you just gotta get inside your head and say, I can do this. I can deal with this, even though it's hard. I'll tell you, they did have a psychiatrist on hand if we needed to talk to somebody. But I never did. I think one or two people may have done it. But the nice thing is you end up getting in. So it's Stockholm syndrome, lack of a better word, when you're living in with a group of people and you're forcing yourself not to leave, because you can leave anytime you want, but you force yourself to not to leave because you're trying to win $5 million. What happens is you gain, and this is why that people like, I would have just done this. I wouldn't have done anything. You gain friendships with other people, and you you said, and he said, have a positive mindset. Basically, can't give negative. It's true. You got to be positive, and that's the whole thing. You have to say, I can work through this. I can, when in the first episode of the show, there were a lot of people breaking down when they had to build the block tower, and they broke down and started crying because how hard it was. It wasn't really. I mean, it wasn't hard for me. But because I'm dyslexic, and if that doesn't tell you anything, then look up how dyslexics brains work and how they function. That'll tell you everything. But you just have to compartmentalize things. You have to be positive, and you have to just work through it. And then you also have the person next to you who's doing the same thing, and you communicate and talk. Again, it's like relationships. It's all about relationships. In a marriage, in friendships or whatever, if you communicate and you talk and you tell people things, they're going to be there to support you. Sure, there's a bunch of jerks out there, but they'll be there to support you. So anyway, that's how I held it together. That was my advice, and just like the advice coming in on Instagram right now: be positive, have a positive mindset. It will help you. Know and believe in yourself. If you can do that, you'll be fine. So anyway. All right, what else we got in here? Hey, Devin, my 8-year-old daughter is constantly glued to her tablet. Hold on, we'll back up this. You have people around you trying to pressure you at times too, I'm sure it gets hard at times. No, it's true. The thing is, if life gets hard, you have pressure. Okay, being an adult is hard. You got pressures come from you everywhere. Being a kid is hard. You got pressures come from everywhere. It's how we handle that pressure. It's how we focus the energy that we have to combat the pressure is literally the how we solve that battle. We all have pressure everywhere we go. And the same thing during Beast Games. It's the same thing. You have pressure because you want to, and the pressure that you're getting from Beast Games is not necessarily, that can I do this? I'm forced to do this. It's more of I want to do this because I'm trying to get something that I don't have. And at the time of obviously we started off in Vegas with 2,000 people, so we had 2,000 people fighting their hardest to get $5 million. Obviously, I didn't win $5 million, or did I? Who knows? No, I didn't. Was Beast Games fun? It was a blast. I'm going to tell you right now, Beast Games was a blast. I would do it all over again, even at 46 years old, almost 47. I would do it all over again. The people I met, they are amazing. Some of them may still be in here. Some of them may not be. The people I met, I'm telling you, cream of the crop. I could not have been with a group of people that were so willing to help and giving and make things right with each other than anywhere in my life. It was honestly beautiful. It was amazing. So, yep, there, Jen's here. One of the finest women from Beast Games. So there's that. No, I'm not trying to brown nose whatsoever. That is factual and true. So, yeah, anyway. All right, let me get to this one. This one's going to be a good one, too. It says, "Hey, Devin, my 8-year-old daughter is constantly glued to her tablet. I try to limit her screen time, but she throws a tantrum every time I take it away. I feel like I've already lost control. How do I set boundaries without her resenting me?" Okay, first of all, she's 8 years old and you're the adult. I'll get to that question in just a second. So, she's 8 years old. You're an adult. Take the tablet away. Don't let her have the tablet. Honestly, an 8-year-old doesn't need a tablet. You have a TV and you put a screen time on that, and you're like, okay, you can watch Cocomelon or whatever the heck you want your 8-year-olds want to watch these days. Let them watch that, and then you cut it off. Then you get their kid outside. You go take them to a park, and you have fun. You're in Austin, Texas, Laura, so I'm going to tell you, you are the adult. You can make the rules of the house. Having a tablet was definitely a privilege, and your child should treat it as such. That sounds horrible, but I'm telling you right now, if you're doing your job as a parent, your kid's going to have a tantrum. It's going to be hard, and you're going to say, fine, take the tablet and get out of here. But if you stay, that's the worst thing that you can do. Trust me, I'm a parent of 5 kids, and let me tell you, when my kids start acting up and not listening, I do something. I take their chargers away. And what happens when their charger disappears? Their phone tends to not work. And you get to watch your kids in the fear in their eyes as they're trying to send that last Snapchat or their last text message right before it dies, knowing that thing will be dead. And they don't know when they're going to get their charger back until the parent tells them. It takes time, detox them. Yeah, around 2 to 3 weeks. You're not wrong, Jen. It is. You're the adult. Be an adult. Suck it up. You know, my wife and I, we tag teamed on this a lot. So we'd go to a store and we'd have a kid that really wanted to have that such and such toy, right? Guess what? You don't let them have it. And when they pitch a fit on the floor and they're screaming and kicking or whatever, walk away. No one's going to take your kid. Well, don't walk away. So that's probably frowned upon nowadays. I mean, yeah. But what you can do, I would let them, my wife would walk away, but she'd be where she could see the kid, and I would walk away, and our kid would stop crying because all of a sudden there's no one to have a tantrum with, right? Then they'd see us again. They'd start doing it again. I would go up, scoop it up, put them underneath my arm. I'd walk straight to the car. I would put them in their car seat, buckle them in their car seat. And when that was done, I would sit in the front seat with the car on. And I'd say, we're not having this. We're not going to scream. We're not going to yell. You can, but I'm not going to talk to you until then. And I just sit there, and they would eventually stop. And I'm like, do you want to talk? And then they tell me yes. And then I'd say, what do you want to talk about? And then say, well, usually the response would be, but I really wanted that toy. And my response typically was, but I said no. That would be a treat, and we're not doing treats today. We're not doing gifts today. That is something for special times. So that's what we would do. That's how we handled it. Now, Laura from Austin, figure it out for yourself. Take my advice. I don't care. You know what to do. All right. Anyway, coming back to this question. How did you meet Jimmy? Did he just randomly message you the invitation? You or have you known him? It's okay. So to be part of Beast Games was how I got on there was from I had a manager. She's retired now. She signed me up. There was a casting call, and when she did the casting call, she signed me up. Said I was gonna get a phone call. I got a phone call, and then I filled out the information. Had to get a passport. Did all that stuff, and then I waited for honestly, it seemed like a couple of months, and then all of a sudden they said, "Hey, we're going to fly to Vegas for the first filming, and we'll go from there." So it was a casting call. So in reality, I'm pretty sure they're going to do a season 2, and there most likely will be a casting call for that as well, and it will be most likely it'll be an open casting call as well. So if you want to be on Beast Games, and I think you got to be at least 18. Follow Beast Games and Mr. Beast stuff. Wait for the casting call to get dropped. Once it drops, fill out that information as fast as you can, get on that list. So that's how I got it. And as far as meeting Jimmy and knowing Jimmy, I met him a couple times when on the games. Nice guy, my opinion. I have no ill feelings for him. I think he's a great person. I know he helps a lot of people out. I know some people have bad attitudes about him, but I don't think they know him. And but I think the reality is I don't know him enough to think he's like the most amazing person in the world. I think he does some amazing stuff. I did meet and talk to Carl and Nolan more. And hung out with Carl. Actually, hung out with Carl more than anybody else. And I would say Carl's a fantastic guy. So there's that. So yeah, overall, never met him before these games. So there's that. We do a no ask November. So that's a good idea. Honestly, yeah, that's a great idea. Do a no ask November. That means your kids don't ask free. Yeah, that's a great idea because honestly, you spend a lot of money at Christmas time anyway. So to go back to Emma, that's literally no ask November. That is a fantastic idea. I love it. And yes, Carl's my favorite too. I kind of wish I had his phone number. I don't. I know some people that do. Actually, for another, I call her kind of my Beast Games daughter, and I'm pretty sure she has his number, which is good. But there's that. So, but yeah, I mean, overall, it was good. It was good. So, anyway, all right. Let's see what else we got on in here. Let's read maybe one or two more, and then we'll call it a night. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Depends on how we feel. Hey Devin, I just started a new job 3 months ago, and I already feel burnt out. My boss is demanding, the workload is insane, and I feel like I'm constantly behind. I need this job, but I don't know how long I can keep up with the pace. What should I do? Nick from Atlanta. Okay, Nick, here's the deal. Did you love the job or the idea of the job when you got the job? If the answer is yes, then you need to probably time management can help you, right? You've been doing it for 3 months, so and you may be still learning the roles. And if it's a fast-paced job, now I've had slow-paced jobs and I've had fast-paced jobs. And I'm going to tell you, the fast-paced jobs where you had to be on it, boom, 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 it is very difficult and it can stress the living crap out of you. So I understand. And having a huge, insane workload, oh my gosh, been there, done that. Okay. Now, one thing you got to do, are you sleeping enough? Are you out partying at night? If you're partying at night, you cut some of that out. If you're hanging out with your friends and you're like, well, I need a social life. You do need a social life. But what you also need more than a social life is a way to pay for your social life. Now, if this is the job that you really wanted and you really like it, then figure it out by categorizing what needs to be done. Okay. Break it down, figure out how you can handle it, work it out. Right. Honestly, so I do, when it comes to a lot of my organizing, how I do time boxing. I don't know if you know what time boxing is, but I time box. Okay. Something that a lot of people do. I created a journal about it, but that's been years ago, so I've done that. But so you essentially got a journal. It has times in it, and I box off. This is when I eat. If I have food in there and eating in there, it is in that time box. If you do that, your life is so much more organized. You can keep up with things. You can keep track of notes easier. Literally, it's what's helped me out. Now, I don't know if it'll help you out, but look it up. Google time boxing or time box organized life. That will change how you do things. It'll make your life easier. And if you stick to it, your life will be, you will have more time in your life. Okay. Now, if you took the job because you needed a job and you hate it, stick it out and apply for things that you want to do. Okay. Stay there, work hard, get the experience, get and leave on a good note. So you have them offering you either more position, or you can leave and they'll give you a recommendation. So that's what you want. You want to have at least a good recommendation. So you leave on a good note, so you're not burning any bridges. But that's what I would do. Okay, life can be hard, but you got it. Seriously. If you put your mind to it, you can handle anything. Just comes down to what you really want out of your goals in life. So there's that. Hey, Devin, I've been trying to grow my YouTube channel, and I see how much attention Mr. Beast and Beast Games brings to participants. How do you think small creators like me can change? Have a chance on being featured in something that big, or is it only for people with big following? Sam from Portland, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know if Beast Games helped me or hurt me or whatever. It was a fantastic adventure for me. I'm going to say I did that for me. And I did that to attempt to get $5 million from my family. I don't know if it's going to help my social media. I don't know if it's going to help boost me by any means. The only thing that I can say when it comes to growing YouTube, be consistent. Keep posting. Honestly, deep dive into Jimmy's put a lot of information out there. Deep dive into what he said and how he did things. Literally, the man's a genius. He literally ate, slept, and breathed YouTube. And if you can mimic anything that he has done as far as how he does things, you'll be successful. And I tell you, I think I've heard him that he said 99% of the success of his videos is honestly based off of just the little simple little thumbnail. I suck at thumbnails. There's that. I've been trying to get better. Part of that is because I just don't like doing that part. I like creating the content. I just don't like doing the thumbnail. And that's the bane of my existence. And I'm going to do it. Yeah, there's that. Whatever. But no, I mean, if he can, anybody can get big on social media. Anybody can make their YouTube big. It just comes down to the effort that they are willing to put into it. Honestly, look at the information that's out there. Jimmy gives a ton. There's a ton of YouTubers out there that will give you the information for free. I'm going to say it. Don't fall for a lot of these paid classes because most of those people just regurgitate the free stuff that you can get online. It's out there. It's all free. I'm telling you. If you want to spend money for something, there's a book from Daryl Eves. I think it's called the YouTube. Look up Daryl Eves and what is it? Daryl Eves' book name? I gotta look it up. I can't remember. Daryl. It's a good book. I have it. Oh, the YouTube Formula. There it is. So if you read that, and some of the stuff is, kind of, I don't know if it's outdated, but what he tells you in there is relevant and it works, and honestly, it could help you. It will. 100% will. So there's that. So all I can say is if you do that and you follow that and you keep learning, it's all about education. Literally everything, if you're trying to grow your YouTube, it's all about education. The more you learn, the more you study, the better you get, the more followers you get, more they tell about each other, the better thumbnails you get, the more people they share it. That's really what it comes down to, and it all takes effort, okay? So again, collaborations help, but I don't know if being on Beast Games is going to help my social media grow more or not. I don't know. I think the jury's still out on that one. Probably not, honestly, but it was for me. That was for me, though. All right. Here's another one. Hey, Devin, my parents and my wife don't get along. Okay. Join the crowd. Join the club. Every holiday turns into a battle, snide comments, and uncomfortable silences. Well, holidays are over, so there's that. That's a good thing, right? I feel like I'm stuck trying to please everyone, and I'm exhausted. How do I keep the peace without losing my mind? Here's the deal, James in Denver. You keep the peace with your wife, and your parents will get over themselves. Yes, I said that. It sounds rude, but it's the facts, and it's reality. And I say that because she is your wife. You are her husband. You guys love each other. You married each other. You are part of that. Should your parents be important to your family? Sure. But when you got married, you started and created your own family. Does that mean that you can involve other people in that? Yeah. Jen's like, stop going to their home, make your home traditions. That is not a bad thing. I mean, really, the reality is, so my parents, when my wife and I first got married, my parents did not like my wife or my girlfriend or fiance, whatever they thought it was. They did not like her. And that's a long story. I think I've told the story once before anyway. Don't even tell the story. They didn't like her. Well, eventually my wife and I, we eloped and got married. And when we did, we showed up at my parents' house, and my mom was pissed. My dad was upset, and they wanted to talk to me. So they left her upstairs, and she was in the kitchen, and we walked downstairs into the basement, and they started telling me all these different things. And I interrupted them, and I said, Mom, Dad, I'm married. That's my wife. You have a new daughter-in-law. You can like it or you can hate it. That choice is yours. It's not my choice. That is your choice. Now, if you hate it, then I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this very clearly. Holidays come around. We're not going to come around. We're going to have kids. You're going to have grandkids. Will you see them? No. Because I don't want to put my children in a bad situation. I don't want to put my wife in a bad situation around people who will be toxic around my spouse. So you either can learn to get to know her, who she really is, and not what you've heard, or you can be angry and grouchy about the whole thing, and that'll be that. But that's not my choice. That's your choice. That's your reaction to a dumb situation. Now, I can ask you, do you trust me? And if the answer is yes, then trust me. But if the answer is no, then figure out why. My mom excused herself. She went up to talk to Shannon and talk to Shannon. I know what she said to my wife, and maybe I'll share that some other time, but they ended up giving each other a hug, and nothing was ever said ever again. The bottom line is this. When you get married, when my daughter got married, my oldest daughter, when she got married, my son-in-law knew that she became his wife. She became his wife. He became her husband. It was about them, not about me, not about Shannon, not about his parents. It was about them. They created their own family. Christmas comes around. Do we want to see them? Absolutely. Are they required to come over? No. But there will be gifts. It's up to them. They create their own traditions. If their traditions are to hang out with us, beautiful. If their traditions are not, okay. Is that sad? As a grown, older adult parent, is that sad for me? Yes, it is. But my loyalty when I got married was to my wife. I'm still loyal to my parents. But I've had people ask me, if your house was on fire and it's you and your wife and your parents, who do you save first? My wife, not my parents. My wife is first, my parents are second. Now, they said, what if you have kids? I'm like, simple. My wife would say, save the kids. And I would tell her, save the kids. Simple as that. I would do everything in my power to save my family, no matter what. That's the reality. So again, if in your situation, it's uncomfortable, your parents and your wife don't get along, it's because your parents have something that they feel that they still have expectations of you here, and they feel like that you have fallen. What you need to explain is you haven't fallen. You just created your own world. And that, and to use the term from the TV show, not TV show, the movie, Meet the Parents and Meet the Fockers, the circle of trust. Who's in that circle of trust? That's the reality. They can be in it or they can be out. Simple as that. And when you when you get married, you create your own family and you create your own stuff. And everyone else is just added into it, but they are not part of it. If they're not financially carrying you, they got no say so. Simple as that. So there we go. Hey Devin, I've been wanting to start my own business, but I'm terrified of failing. My current job is stable, but it doesn't make me happy. How do I get over the fear and take a leap? You do it, Lisa. You do it. Seriously. That's the only way the only thing stopping you is you, and you're afraid of failing. What happens when you fail? Honestly, you'll be out a little bit of money, potentially, or you'll have people that don't, if it's your business and you just can't get it off and people don't buy, okay, don't quit your job. Start it as a side hustle and figure it out. You're only honestly, the biggest failures are those that don't try to start. If you're not trying, you are failing. Everything else is just a learning experience. Failing is you're not learning anything. If you're not failing, you're not learning. Strive for the failure. The reality is strive for that failure. Start your business. Is it terrifying to start a business? Absolutely. Failing is learning. You're right, Jen. The reality is okay. Again, we've got a big project that we're trying to put together. And am I scared that we won't be able to take this project? Yes. Do I have hope that the movie houses that we sent the project to will accept the project? Absolutely. Now, what happens if they don't? Then I want to do it myself. Now, am I afraid that I'll get the project going and I can't get it, or I'll try to get the project going and it won't happen? Yeah, I'm scared. But you know what? And I have put a lot of work into it, and I've done a lot of stuff to get it going. Got a website built for it. Tomorrow we're filming some videos for it and everything like that. I'm telling you, am I scared? Absolutely. I'm terrified, because what this project does, it actually forces us to take a leap into something of the unknown, but we're doing it anyway. Thank you. It's been a work in progress for actually probably about a year and a half. And yeah, I knew I was working on this project for trying to get this off, was hoping Amazon would take it, but and they're still in the ropes. Actually, even X is potentially a purchaser of it, because I know X has got a TV app that they're pushing soon, and it's in beta right now. But the reality is, you just got to do it, and that's what I'm doing when it comes to my project. I'm making it happen, and if it fails, guess what? I learned. I got some amazing content from it. Got some stuff we did. It's all part of it. For you, and honestly, you can do this. So the only failure I see is if you don't try to start your own business. So Lisa, I'm telling you, and Seattle's a good place to be. I don't know what your business is. Honestly, if you want to email me, I can help you, put you in contact with a bunch of people that can help possibly push you more to get your business up and going. I know a lot of good CEOs that love help push small businesses become big businesses. So the reality is, if you need that help, email me. You emailed me the question, so you can email me again. And I'm telling you, don't fail at it. Run with it, and you can do it. I promise you that your happiness depends on this in many cases, because you'll always have in the back of your mind saying, I wonder what would have happened. Honestly, if you fail, then you know what happened. I mean, again, go back to the Beast Game stuff. Yeah. Was I a failure? Sure. I don't see it as a failure, though. I succeeded. I did exactly what I went in to do, and it worked. Did I win? No. Or did I? No, I didn't. Everybody knows I was at this last episode. They knew I got eliminated. In LA, I've got a big red X over my face on the billboards. So yes. Was that a failure? No, it was an amazing learning experience. I have met some amazing people there, and many of them actually watched this live stream and podcast tonight. And I'm telling you, that was not a failure. So Lisa in Seattle, I'm telling you, take the leap,
Don't be afraid. Make it happen. I promise you, you will be happy with yourself in no matter what the results come out to be. It'll be fine. All right. I think I got one more in me. And then I've got early meetings tomorrow, so I've got to be out of the house. So let's see. Which one? Did we really do almost 12? We've done 10 of them. Wow, 10 out of 12. Very cool. So, all right, let's do this one. Hey, Devin, all my friends seem to have their lives together. Marriage, careers, kids, and I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do in my life. I feel like I'm falling behind. How do I stop comparing myself and start feeling good about where I am? Chris in Boston. All right, Chris, here's the deal. There's always going to be a million people that you're going to compare yourself to in life. There's going to be a million people that have something better than you in life. There's always going to be somebody that is doing something that you think is better than what you have. And this is going to sound so cliche, and I apologize on how it is. Just be happy with what you have. Push your life hard. Push your life harder to the point. Be happy with what you have. Stop comparing. Comparison kills you. Comparison is the death of how it. Don't be an Instagram person. And I love Instagram. Don't get me wrong. But you know how as you're scrolling through Instagram, you're like, oh man, I wish I could go stay at that hotel. Oh man, look at that food that they're cooking. I wish I could have that. Oh man, look at the clothes that they're wearing. Oh man, that guy's got such a beautiful wife. Oh man, those kids seem so well behaved. All those things. If you want those things, go for it. Get it yourself. Don't go into debt. I'll tell you that right now. Don't do that. You have things that people wish that they had. And I promise you, that is a true fact. You have probably a ton of things that people look at you and go, man, Chris has this. Man, how about that? When I was a teenager, I had friends that were like, man, Devin, you got a nice car. Now, my nice car when I was a teenager, I had a 1991 Honda Civic. Okay. My friends were like, I can't believe you have a nice car. How do you have a nice car? I wish I had one. They were given a car. My parents never gave us cars. So my parents made us save money and buy a car ourselves. I financed my car because I had older brothers that are like, okay, here's the deal. You save up half. I'll finance the other half for you. You pay that payment. The second you get late on that payment, the car's mine. Yes, I will totally do that. I paid the payments, paid the car off. It was done. I worked for my car. I'm going to tell you, my friends were like, I can't believe you have such a nice car. Well, I worked for it. I did that. So I'm telling you, be happy with what you have. Work for what you have. You'll appreciate it. I guarantee other people will be jealous of you. And they probably already are. But sometimes they don't say it. Most people don't say it. Be happy with yourself. I'm telling you. If just be happy with who you are. You need to get sunlight. You need to be eating right. You need to be doing all those things, and you'll be happy. I'm telling you. Comparison is the death of happiness. Stop comparing yourself. Look at what you have and go, man. And they're telling you, if you look out in the world, as you're driving down the road, do you see a homeless person? I guarantee that they'll be like, man, I wish I had what he had. And that sounds horrible to say it that way, but it's true. You got stuff that they wish they had. So be happy with your life. If you're not happy, find what can make you happy. Push yourself to the limit of where you can get to push yourself to the limit to be the person that you know that you should be. Your life will be fine. Anyway, I want to say thank you guys. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for being part of this. Thank you guys for jumping on the live. Thank you for all the people that watch. I appreciate the emails. Keep sending them. You can send any email, any question, anytime to summit7vine@gmail.com. That is my email. That's my old production company. I still have never changed the email address. But yeah, anyway, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for being part of this. I love you. And I will talk to you guys later. We'll see ya.
On the airwaves reaching, talk about life and what you're preaching, family tales and where you're going, truths you need without the sugar coating. On the mic, yeah, they won't falter, advice they give like a sacred altar, stories real, you can't ignore them, light and dark, they always explore them. Young blood's here for you, with wisdom old and questions new. Tune in now and you will see, life's a mess, but side by side we're free. Wisdom shared from heart to heart, pushing through when life falls apart. Raw and true, no hesitation, covering life without the reservation. Family roots and ways